They're probably 2 years old, somewhere around there. You know what I might do, and this predictive guiding. We joke about it and we say it's not ideal, but sometimes it works. Sometimes you get it right, and I think these elephants are heading down to the water. And what I may do is actually shoot ahead of them and stop and wait quietly and see if they do come down to drink. It could work, it could not. Let me do that. I'm going to go stop, and hopefully we get a nice section with no signal issues, and we'll see you all shortly again. Let's head back to Taylor.
Elephants everywhere. I'm so glad for you, Byron. Unfortunately, I haven't got elephants anywhere, just their tracks. Now we just popped onto the new road and we're searching for any sign of life. It's getting quite chilly now and the wind is definitely picking up, which is not ideal, but we can't do anything about the weather now, can we? And then I've been thinking the entire time about potentially what bird our mystery bird could have been. We didn't get a very good view of it. Now I was waiting to see the eye and the beak, and that's the part that I missed. We could just see its back. I wonder if it wasn't a black-backed puffback, because it was black and white. It had mottled black and white feathers, but I'll have to check once I see one of those images after the drive. I'll have a look, but I reckon it could have been one of those, because it was quite a big bird. It definitely wasn't small enough to be a batis or a southern black tit. It was something larger, even bigger than a chugra, slightly bigger than a chugra. I'm going to go with black-back puffback, but I'll have a look afterwards, and then I shall tweet out what I think my final answer will be. So I still have not ever seen leopard track on this road, or a leopard, but maybe today is going to be the day. There's lots of zebra tracks around here, plenty of zebra. No zebra to go with those tracks, sadly, but I think this would also be a nice area to see that ostrich that keeps walking onto the property. And I also wonder, when are we going to see that ostrich? Because we see its tracks enough, we're bound to bump into it, and I hope it's me that bumps into it, because I would really like to see that ostrich, and because it's been haunting me. Megan is convinced that someone's just playing tricks with me. She says someone's gone out and put ostrich footprints down on the ground just to tease me, which wouldn't be too unlikely. Right, let me focus here and check these termite mounds, because I know Shadow likes to stash her little ones on the tops of the mounds. No leopard tracks just yet. Now, Anne, you were actually wondering if we found ostrich tracks. Sure, we have before, but I haven't seen any today. When did I see some? I saw some the other day. I can't even remember when it was. Was it perhaps... I don't know. Hello, hornbill. There's a yellow-billed hornbill right in front of the car. What are you doing? No, but that's so awkward now, because now I don't think... Yes, now your head is chopped off. Can you please come back to the position that you were on the floor earlier, where you were out in the open? Mr. Hornbill? Very chatty. He's cleaning his beak now, as you can see, rubbing it on the plants, and off he flies. Where are you going to go? Still sort of hiding away. She's flown to a better perch on the marula tree. Yes, you won't wobble around so much now if you rub your beak on the branch that you're standing on. Wonder where your friend is, or your mate. You haven't got one just yet. You're still searching, and off he goes. Bye bye. A lovely question from Chitty Chatty Meg. Thank you for this one, and that is, do birds get ticks and fleas? Most certainly. They normally get a type of a bird lice, and they will definitely have ticks on them as well. I have every sort of bird that I have found that's died in the bush, I can't help myself, but I have had a little scratch around and moving around the feathers. I've never found any particularly big sort of grey ticks, you know, the typical ones that we see on the animals, those really big fat ones, or bond ticks. I've never found on birds, but they're much smaller, slightly larger than that of a pepper tick, but though I'm sure they get covered in pepper ticks too. This is another type of tick, and I don't know if it's a specific tick that requires a bird host, It wouldn't surprise me if that was the case though, because there's so many parasites out here that are host specific. So we'll do some searching about that. I've actually got a very nice insect book which we'll have a look at. I'll do that when I get home. It's a perfect day to actually do a bit of reading. Right, I'm not going to carry on chatting too much. Let's go across to Byron. He's got an owl.
Now, the predictive guiding did not pay off. The elephant decided to change direction. They headed into a thicket. They didn't go down. I'm just joking. I was correct. They are going down to drink. I can see they're moving back now to the dam. But I heard an owl call, and we managed to find this beautiful pearl-spotted owl. Look at that. Now, you all know how much I'm enjoying these owls at the moment. We are seeing so many of them, and it's wonderful. The main reason is because there's not many leaves around, so it's a bit easier to spot them. But they are really well camouflaged, and they do hide. So it is always wonderful to see one. And you can see those beautiful black markings behind the head, or on the back of the head, and very distinct markings for a pearl-spotted owl, pearl-spotted owlet. Telly, you say owls are your favorite birds. Good, Telly. Well, I'm so glad. Now, all right. Louis is the owl whisperer. I don't think so. I've just been very fortunate. But it's so great to see this little pearl-spotted owlet. Now, these elephants have headed down to the dam. They ran past, turned, changed direction, went straight to the water. So why don't I reposition again? Lovely view of that owl. We'll leave the owl, go and see and watch these elephants drinking. I'll try to get us a nice position with no signal issues. Okay. I'm just going to stay here for a second. I think Taylor was just off the vehicle for a second, but you can see those elephants, they're all down at the bottom to my right. They are all down at the dam. So I was right, they all went straight down to drink. You could just see in the way they were walking. But it was funny, they changed direction. They headed basically off behind us through a thicket, and then they turned and went back to the water. So I wonder why they did that. But it's amazing to see how the whole herd were walking very, very quickly, and they all started this little bit of a trot down towards the water, but then they came past us this way and headed through into the thicket behind me. So I thought maybe they just decided not to go and drink, but then they turned and they came out again on the other side. So we'll try to get a nice view of them quickly. Okay, let me try get a better position before we lose signal just in this little dip. Let's head back to Taylor and then we'll get a view of the elephant for you.
Well, I'm very excited for you, Byron. You have now completed the owls, the trio of owls. We had the you've had the scops owl, the African scops owl. Then you got the barred owlet and now the pearl-spotted owlet. So well done to you, because I know that's been bugging you for quite some time. The owl whisperer, I believe all of you are calling Byron. Oh my goodness, what a hoot. What else are we going to do now? I'm trying to think. We just, Craig and I are having some breakfast. I had a nachi, which is like tangerine. It's delicious. Then I was telling a story about Craig, because he says, I thought you don't like nachis. And I said, well, I absolutely love them, but my body hates them. I have a little bit of an intolerance, I suppose you could say, to vitamin C, and I typically can break out in hives if I eat too many, and that's because when I was a kid I would eat like 10, probably even more every single day at school. It was my favorite thing in the whole world. Now I'm too scared because it's very itchy. There we go, just a random fact in case you were wondering. What have we got here? Nothing. Not one leopard track. So we're still not having any luck with the cats. So we're going to go down towards Impala Plains. I did have a chat to Rexon now as well while we were off air, and I managed to decipher his robot voice, and he'd said to me that Tingana is indeed in Buffelshoek, which is unfortunate for us, but he's on an Impala kill, so that's quite nice. Excuse me, now I'm going to sneeze. Joy. Thank you, Megan. There might be another sneeze coming along now, I'm not sure. It's building up. Am I going to, and I don't want to start another topic and then sneeze halfway through. It's the worst thing in the whole world. Oh no, it's not the worst thing in the whole world. I could think of a lot worse things. It's an inconvenience. Okay. Whew. Not going to sneeze, not going to start a new topic. Instead, I'm going to send you across to Byron, and finally, the elephants have arrived at Chitwa Dam.
They have indeed. Taylor, I must admit I enjoyed your little joke about it being a hoot that I'm an owl whisperer. I thought that was very funny. And just as we thought, elephants coming down to drink. It's always it's always wonderful. It's always wonderful when you say something might happen as a guide and it does actually happen. And I mean, when we first found them, they were walking very quickly, and I thought immediately that they must be heading down to the water. So it is always wonderful when that does happen. Michael, you asked how far can an elephant herd travel? Michael, it's hard to say. It depends on the availability of food and water. So summer, they won't need to move around as much, but in winter they can cover huge distances. Probably 10-15 kilometers in a day, perhaps. Sorry, my wires are getting tangled here. Still quite chilly, sure. See, and it's funny though, herds like this, they drink quite quickly. They don't hang around the water for very long. And it's usually when the youngster, I suppose it does depend. I suppose at the moment it's very cool. It's not hot, so they just came down to drink. They didn't splash around in the water or swim. But for them to come down, drink quickly, and then move off again and start feeding, and especially with the youngsters, the herds are always very cautious when they've got these young elephant with them. Jono, you say what an amazing scene, and it is. It is so special to see herds of elephant like this come down and drink and spend time around the water. I love seeing them, especially when all these young ones are with them. Oh, now there's a bit of drizzle going on at the moment. That's not good. Hope it doesn't rain. Oh, I mean, I hope it does rain once drive is finished. Not now. And just as quickly as these elephant got down to the water, they've had a drink and moved off. Now, from our very, very large grey animals, Taylor's got some small grey animals she wants to show you.
We do! Warthogs! Now, I've also seen some male leopard tracks around here, and these warthogs were very skittish a moment ago. They just heard the sound of my voice and raced off in the opposite direction, which was surprising because they're out in the open. So I think that this would be a semi-good spot for a warthog because they don't have the best eyesight. And I think being out in the open then allows you to see a little bit better rather than hiding away in the thick stuff. Let's go around though. Let's see if we can get a better view. They're quite far away from us. I don't know where the leopard tracks have gone now. There was just a couple of them on the road coming in this direction. We'll just have to check here. Maybe Mvula's been walking around here. It's definitely a possibility. No, I can't see any tracks now. Let's see the warthogs again. Woo, bumpy! No, off they go. And they're going to cross the... Are you going to cross the road? What are you going to do, pigs? No, they're running further and further into the thicket. We'll try again. That sow up in front, though, is just very uneasy. There's one at the back who is quite relaxed. I think we might actually leave these warthogs. Even the warthogs need to be respected, not just the big animals. So I think we'll let them run away and settle down. But I'll send you back across to Byron with his grey animals, and they seem to be a lot more relaxed.
They have definitely calmed down now quite a lot. They moved off slowly. It was just, I think, that initial excitement of heading down to the dam. Also, because there are youngsters around, the elephant are still cautious, and we could probably say they get a little bit nervous when approaching a dam. Just they're not sure if there's potential predators around. Now we know that in this area, chances of anything going for a big herd of elephant like this, the lions, very, very unlikely. But in other parts of Africa, the lions do hunt elephant, so they're always still cautious. But you could see there's an excitement. I think I don't know. Yeah, I think it's probably just the excitement of getting to the water. They know there's water up ahead. They're going to get a drink, and you see how slowly they're moving away now. Really completely different behavior to when they were coming down into this area. They were moving very quickly from when we first found them, and especially coming down this hill towards the dam, they get that bit of a swagger, bit of a little trot going on. I don't know if you can call it a trot, but the elephant trot. But that was great. Perfect timing. And we got to see an owl. So I'm very happy, very excited. Elephant, owls, giraffe this morning. No cats, unfortunately. Not yet anyway. But we still have some time. You never know. I might head back into that area where I had those tracks of the male leopard. Now, I heard they found Tingana, it sounded like, on Buffelshoek. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually walked through from the southern boundary all the way through to the northern boundary. They can easily do that in an evening, especially a male leopard like that. Especially a male leopard like that, he can cover a huge distance. But we'll see. Maybe we bump into something a little bit later. Sinzo, I think it was a bit too soon to panic for our tyre. It looks fine. Tina, the elephants trumpet for a number of reasons. It's mostly communication. So they will communicate with each other when they are trumpeting. The young elephant get quite... Oh, let's see if that elephant's going to go down there. Is it? Interesting. Look at that. Now, Tina, the elephants will trumpet, especially the youngsters trumpet when they are upset, when they perhaps not getting water from the mothers, when they're not getting milk, when they are trying to suckle and the females are weaning them off the milk. The youngsters get very upset and they trumpet and they make a loud noise. But look at that! Isn't that amazing? Going straight down, and that embankment's quite steep. Now, elephants have the ability to climb up and down very steep areas. I've seen in Zimbabwe almost climbing up parts of cliffs, that certain sections of cliffs that these elephants are able to get up and over. It's amazing. So, Tina, the elephant will also trumpet if they feel threatened. If there's a pride of lions, for example, around, those elephants will trumpet and they'll chase them to warn them off or to try to chase them away. They trumpet if we get too close. If they're unhappy with the vehicles, elephants will trumpet. So it's all communication, but mainly for a warning or a call of distress almost. I suppose that would be the best way to describe the trumpet of an elephant. They've got a few other ways of communicating. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sure, sorry. There's some more coming back this way. See, the herd split, so I wouldn't be surprised if those other elephant haven't had a drink yet, and they might be coming through to drink now. Anna, you asked what is the largest herd of elephants that I've seen. Anna, I think the largest herd I've seen is probably about 80 to 100 strong, 100, just over 100. Having a look here. There's some wonderful birds flying around. Just double check something quickly. Looks like we've got some wire-tailed swallows over there. I think those are the wire-tailed swallows. I just want to double check quickly. Nice view of them sitting on the ground. Just seeing, because we get a few different swallows around, but the barn swallows and most of the other swallows have migrated. So those are the little wire-tailed swallows, those little ones with a very white breast. And they are here throughout the year. Yeah, those look like little wire-tailed swallows flying around here. But there was another. Wow, that was so quick. Yeah, almost certain wire-tailed swallows. I'll try to show you a nice image of one. That's them. You can actually see. This is a lovely picture of them. So we could see there's a bit of a grey head on them. And those are the younger ones over there. You could see that, but that very white breast. And a lot of these that we saw here was some of the younger ones. But that's the adult with the little brown head. Try to see if we can get another one for you. And then we've got some other swallows around here too. Just hold on a second. So it's not just the... Yeah, those are definitely... Double checking. Oh, those are the wire-tailed. But then there's some other swallows sitting up in the tree above us. Now, I wonder if these are not mosque swallows. I haven't seen them for a while. I'll just double check. Sorry everyone, I'm just having a good look. The colour at the moment, looking into this grey sky is making it difficult. But there, that's a nice view of them. See that rufous belly? I just want to see if there's a bit of blue on the head. I can't really see. Looks like there is. Well, it actually... To make it easier for us, it can't be anything else. No, I'm not sure if any of you have seen the mosque swallows before, but those are the mosque swallows. That's lovely. I haven't seen them on Safari Live yet, but we do get them in this area from time to time, but not often. But those are... I'm just having another good look. I just want to be 100% sure, because we don't see the mosque swallows often. No, Guaranteed it is. It is a mosque swallow. That's wonderful. Now, they generally like baobab trees, in fact, but I have seen them down in the Sabi sands before, and they enjoy these dead trees. They'll often go and roost in the dead trees from time to time. Wow, Marco, you say the mosque swallow is number 234 for your list. That's a very decent list, Marco, for Safari Live. Wow. See, they're generally scarce. Taylor, you say 91 for you. That's wonderful. So, as I was saying, the mosque swallows are generally scarce. So, it's wonderful to see them around. But, so pearl-breasted swallows and mosque swallows. Like I said, I haven't seen mosque swallows in this area for... Oh, I'm trying to think now. Must be a few years, actually. Yeah, I think so. It's probably a few years since I last saw some mosque swallows. And you know what I'm also going to do is I'm checking my app, but I'm checking the bird book too. I want to make 100% sure, but I'm sure all of you can agree with me that they are mosque swallows. If you look at that rufous color down the... if you look at the rufous down the front of the bird, or the belly, and then they've got a white throat and a bit of rufous, what would appear, I suppose you could say, behind the ear. There's a bit of that rufous brown coloration, bluish wings, blue tinge to the wings, and then a bluish head. Now you probably can't see that blue very clearly because the sun isn't shining on it, but it definitely, they do have that blue coloration. That is wonderful. Mosque swallows, nice. I have not seen them, as I said, for quite some time. So what a great morning. Even though we've got grey skies, Taylor is also driving around under these grey skies. I hope she's not depressed because of the grey skies. Let's go cheer her up.
I'm so depressed. No, I'm not. Oh, sorry, Warthog, did I scare you away? Oh no, and I'm rolling. Craig, the wheels are falling off the wagon this morning. It is cold and it's miserable, and there's bitter spatters of rain. Can you believe it? Hopefully we don't actually get any rain because we will be in a bit of trouble. But there is a small family of warthogs. Let me go forward for you, Craig. Perhaps we will get a better view if they do not run away. Now, I've only really been seeing impala and warthog this morning, and kudu, and footprints of many other animals, but none that want to reveal themselves to us. Please stay, warthogs. Pretty please, just for like 5 minutes, and then you can go, and then it'll be acceptable to move on. Oh, off they go. Anyways, that's quite a great view. I love it when a warthog puts its tail in the air and races off. They look very nervous though, and you see they kept putting on the brakes. So I wonder if they're not picking up a scent coming from that direction. I've also been listening to the game drive radio. It seems like there is some lions found again in Buffelshoek. I don't know which pride it is, if it's the Torchwood pride or the Nguma pride. But they said there's also a lot of vulture activity around one area, and it's in the area where those zebra were alarming this morning that we're trying to follow up on. So we're going to go past that way again and see if we can pick up on anything. Can also hear a squirrel going absolutely ballistic, but that could be for a bird or a snake as well. It's okay, young lady. Don't worry. I promise we're not going to eat you. Byron's not here. He was talking about how tasty warthogs are. Don't worry, we'll keep him away from you. Nancy, you said that you love how they run. I think so too. I think they must be the cutest runners out there. I mean, who puts their tail up like that? That's ridiculous. Obviously, it's very important for a warthog. To you and I, it looks quite silly, but that's how they follow each other in that very long grass. Now, it's not particularly long anymore, as you all know. We've got another character who's a yellow-billed hornbill who's singing a beautiful tune. Maybe he's going to do a display for us in a moment. Seeing as though there's not much else about, we might as well make the most of what we've got over here. Hello, fella. You can hear him going. That was me. Let's see if he responds. Yeah, I don't think he's responding to me though. I don't think I'm his type. I think he prefers a bird with more feathers. So funny today. I'm ridiculous. Megan gave me a ha 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 from Final Control. Yes, I know, it was quite sad. It's miserable out here. I need to try and find ways to entertain all of you. The animals aren't partaking, so we'll probably just have to deal with my lame jokes. Luckily Byron's got animals, because can you imagine if you had lame jokes coming from both cars? Oh my goodness, you'd probably switch it all off. Right, he's not doing much. I thought he was going to open his wings for us and flap them about. What am I doing now, Craig? Or not what am I doing? What are we doing? I'm trying to decide. I want to have another look at Sydney's Dam, because if there is activity around here, this is the closest watering hole. And if, say, the lions had maybe caught a zebra or something along those lines, and they were wanting to have a drink, they'd have to come this way. We could still catch them. And because it is nice and cool, we can't rule out that the cats are not going to be around. They could easily still keep moving about on this chilly morning. This is actually going to be a great day ready to do some reading, because this is very uninspiring weather to go out for a run. Hey Craig? Maybe we'll just have to settle for some gym, some skipping and all that. What's down there? I thought I saw something. It could have just been a pile of elephant dung. I thought I saw a bird. Wondering how often do they drag the road with tires? They actually do it fairly frequently. Normally they'll grade the road properly. They'll put the big, we'll get the grading machine out, the actual grading machine, and we do that just after rain, once the roads dry up just a little bit. Now what they're doing is, like you've just said, they're just dragging tires to sort of level it all out, and they're almost doing it every day. It's quite a long process. They drag it with tractors, so they can't go particularly fast, so they aren't able to do all the roads in one day, but they'll just keep doing it. There's a constant team dedicated to the road maintenance in the Sabi sand, so they're always out and about. And sometimes Rexon even takes charge on Djuma, and he'll go out and do his own bit of work too. Nothing at Sydney's Dam. I thought we were really going to catch something. Right, we're going to go back up Buffelshoek boundary now though. Right, we're going to go all the way back up. We will check the hyena den again. I think it's been long enough, given them an opportunity to pop out. Byron has moved on from his Chitwa experience. Let's see what roads he's going to take next.
So I'm going to head back down towards that Twin Dams area, just see if we have any luck with the predator around there. It's quite cold, but we've got a group of Inyala walking past us. There's a young male, and then you'll see the females coming through. They are beautiful. I do enjoy the Inyala very, very much. I must be honest, I'm really excited about seeing those mosque swallows. I haven't seen them for a very long time, so it's wonderful to see them again. And they do occur in the area, but not very often. So I remember one year working at Londolozi, the only time I saw the mosque swallows. Also big leadwood trees, and the mosque swallows went, and they were hanging around there for a week or two. And the guys would get very excited when they saw them. They'd call them in on the radio and say they are mosque swallow. And look what else I've found. African hawk eagle, everyone. Wonderful. Look at that. Perched there. Yes, that is brilliant. Look at that beautiful African hawk eagle. Now I wonder where the other one is. They are usually in pairs, so I'm sure the other one is around here somewhere. Now this bird will be perched up there, having a look around for francolin, guinea fowl, possibly rodents, and it'll hunt from the perch of a tree like that. What a great morning. Wow, we've been very lucky. Look at that, the way it's scanning. This is Sammy Jane. You excited? It's another bird of prey. I'm also very excited. I always enjoy seeing these birds of prey. Where is the other one? Looking around, trying to see if I can spot it. And I'm almost certain there would be another one around here somewhere. Because they, as I said, they are generally in pairs. Snazzy, you say it's such a beautiful bird. It is. They are lovely. The African hawk eagle. A really sharp beak. Julian, you say you love their fat fluffy legs. Yeah, and you see they've got the feathers all the way down the legs. Just scanning these other trees around here. Trying to see if I can find the other one. Some male impala chasing each other in the distance, but because I just heard a few grunts, I'm just having a look. Ah, there's an African fish eagle calling in the distance. Probably the one that hangs around Chitwa Dam. We didn't see it while we were there. Maybe it's returned to the dam. Possibly hiding in another tree somewhere. Wouldn't it be amazing to see this hawk eagle swoop down and catch something? Vombo girl. Let me just have a look here quickly. That's, you know what, that actually, wow, look at that, he's quite low down there. Can you see him, Sense? I must reverse a little bit. Let me just reverse a touch here. Is that alright? There we go. There's an, oh, sorry, there's a beautiful gap through there. Look at that. Now, Vombo girl, the food, so as I said, mainly birds like francolins and guinea fowl and that, but I would say, let me just check here what they say the largest prey might be. As I said, possibly, you know, rodents or scrub hares or something in the grass. Also rock hyrax, or a dussie, but a rock hyrax. We do get them in these areas, in the rocky areas. See them around. So I would say probably the size of a hyrax or a hare. That would most likely be the largest prey that they take. They do say that they'd also hunt bush babies. I suppose if they manage to find a bush baby during the day. Oh, there it goes. Oh, it's still sitting. Just perched on that other tree. Paul, oh, no, I'm probably going to get this wrong. You asked, what is the biggest bird of prey that we have here? The largest eagle that we get here, let's double check, Paul. Let's double check. Okay, so the largest eagle that we have in this area, I would say, is probably the Marshall eagle. So let's double check size. I suppose the vultures are scavengers, so let's not look at vultures or the marabou storks, because those are very, very large birds. Excuse me, sorry. Those are big birds, much bigger than the eagles. But let's just look at the eagles, for example. I would say the largest bird of prey that hunts for itself, and that must be the martial eagle in this area. And I just wanted to show you something quickly. There it goes. But because some of you might have been wondering what is a rock hyrax, let me just show you a quick photo before we go across to Taylor. And if you look down here, Sinza, there we go. That's the rock hyrax, or the dassie, and that is what the African hawk eagle can feed on in certain areas where they do occur. Just so you know what a dassie or a rock hyrax does look like. We don't really see them here. Not many rocky outcrops around. Alright, okay. Now we're going to carry on. Now I do apologize, Taylor. I know she had some birds. Hopefully they're still around and she can show them to you.
Nope, all gone. Ish. Ah, it was so cool. We had an entire bird party and every one of the members of the bird party had something in their mouth. There was a moth, there was a caterpillar, there was a grasshopper of some sort. It was so great. There was a black-headed oriole, there were white-crested helmet sharks and fork-tailed drongos. It was a really cool little sighting. Right, let's carry on. Let's go check the hyena den again. Try and get there as quick as possible. Starting to rain now too, which is a bit of a nuisance. Hopefully it doesn't rain too much, otherwise we're going to have to put a roof on, which won't be ideal. So not the easiest thing to put back on. Okay. Where is this den? I can't see any ears poking up just yet. Oh, I can see a head lying inside the den. It is cold. I think that's a good spot as well. I'm going to go to this one first just because this is such a cute little sighting, and then we'll go across and see the one. And there's Djuma. How cool is this though? Look at that there. I think that's Gwen in the actual burrow. They're obviously quite cold. And you can hear the impala are now alarming at the hyenas. You look miserable and freezing. I think that is Gwen. She's not I actually don't know. You can let me know which hyena this is. Hashtag Safari Live. I will actually not make an attempt at guessing who is who. But very, very sleepy. Eyes are heavy. It's probably nice and warm with your body inside that termite mound, keeping out of the wind. So if any of you ever had your doubts about antelope alarming at hyenas, if you listen carefully, you'll hear the turtle dove, and you'll hear the impalas snorting. Now they've all gone quiet. Because in fact, hyenas are very, very, very good hunters. That looks so comfortable. I'm tempted to go and join this hyena. I think that must be a great spot. And not always that we get to see the adults actually going inside the den at all. Normally they just sleep around it on the outside. All the little ones are always inside there. That is absolutely precious though. Go to sleep, it's okay. But not interested by the snorting impala. And I'm sure these impala are actually coming closer too. Now Vegas Beauty Snob, you say that she looks so precious. She does indeed. As precious as what a hyena could look, especially when it's not a young cub. Craig, should we go have a look at the other one? Now I think that is Gwen in there, and then I can see Djuma and Ribbon. Let me go back. Sorry, Craig. I'll just quickly sneak back here. We'll go down this side. See if we can spot the impala as well. Hi, hyenas. Well, I'm just going to pull off to the side here. Hello, Djuma. Oh, there's our precious little girl suckling. So we must have just missed Mom. You can see she's popped her head up now. She's listening to these impala that are snorting just off to the left of me. Whether she's going to get up and go and chase them, we'll have to just wait and see. Well, there's a whole herd of them. It will be difficult for you to see, but they're not actually far from these hyenas at all, and they're grooming themselves, so they're definitely acknowledging that there is a predator in the area, but they're not running away from it. And just what normally happens is, of course, the impala know that they're there, so they'll keep an eye out on them. But I don't know if these hyenas are going to go after them. They look fairly fat. Oh, look at that. She's been waiting all night for the return of Mom. And there we go, little girl. Not excited to see us at all. I don't blame her, though. I'm glad she's more excited to see Mom and focused on suckling than really worrying about us at all. But I'm sure once she's had a big drink, she might get a boost of energy and she'll probably come running away this side too, and maybe try and bite my tires. But please don't bite Wendy's tires. Wendy doesn't like her tires to be bitten. And I don't think I really want to have to deal with something like that. Naughty little hyenas. Isn't this sweet? Well, we'll stay here for a little bit longer and see what the hyenas get up to, if anything else develops. Oh, listen, very quickly, a black-collared barbet. Sorry, I just thought that was completely relevant, considering we had one this morning and I was talking about it, wanting to make a call. But Byron has got some animals that have got not spots, but stripes. Let's go take a look.
We do indeed. We've now found some zebra. I've been seeing a lot this morning. This is really fantastic. So despite the weather, the grey skies, the animals have been very supportive of us this morning. They've come out to join us. Always nice to see zebra. See how they were grooming one another there? Getting rid of some of the ticks and fleas. And zebra will often do that. Let me move forward a little bit for us. I've got my coffee to try warm up a little bit. So if you're having a little coffee break with us, cheers everyone. And as I said, I do this because we always stop with guests in the mornings. We'll stop for a little coffee break. Nice to stretch your legs a little bit after sitting in the car for so long. I see a male impala chasing some females around here, snorting and grunting and chasing. You see? Oh, he's causing havoc. Look, don't know why. It's not mating season at the moment, or ratting season. Not for the impala anyway. Sammy Jane, you said you cheersed your coffee to me. Thank you, Sammy Jane. I hope you're enjoying it. Oh, it's starting to drizzle, everyone. This is strange. And I hope it stops. Just, it's getting a bit harder now. That's not good. Have we got, luckily you've got your, what is that called again, Senzo, that you brought back from your Mara? Shuka. Senzo has brought his shuka with, and he's using his shuka as a cover for the camera to try stop it, because we don't have camera covers for these new cameras. Now we've got black bags, don't we, Senzo? Where are those black bags? We might have to try and cover up a little bit, because this drizzle is getting a bit heavier. Oh no, binoculars are getting wet here too. Oh, it's all happening now. The rain and drizzle. Do you need something else? Is that alright? Alright, we're going to try just cover up a little bit here. Let's head back to Taylor and those hyena.
We're still sitting with him, and they're just enjoying cuddling up and keeping nice and warm on a miserable day like today. I reckon that those impala were envious, especially of the hyena that's in the burrow. We can't see her just yet, but we'll try and reposition. We've also starting to get quite sort of big raindrops now, which we'll have to watch out for. Now, hyenas, some of you might know this, but they're my second favorite animal, second to the elephants, of course. But just as intelligent, I suppose, and I enjoy watching the social dynamics of spotted hyenas, and I wish we got to see more interactions more often. It's just sometimes it's so difficult to follow them, especially when they move off road and move into the very, very dense vegetation, and they move a whole lot quicker typically than what we see the leopards and the lions doing. Because it's not often that the spotted hyenas will choose a walk as their gait. They seem to prefer to sort of go at a trot. They're always on the move, and they can move through those vegetation on the animal pathways very, very quickly. And Djuma, you look very happy or curled up. I'm very jealous of that little hyena. For me, that's like having a cup of hot chocolate and a cuddle. Obviously, that little cub is not drinking hot chocolate though. It's drinking very high protein and fat milk that Mom has supplied. And I reckon they'll probably just lay out like this for most of the day. Unless it starts pouring with rain, then they might head in and look for some shelter. Whether they'd all fit inside this den, I'm not so sure. You saw the other hyena that was at the entrance of the burrow. She's taken up that entire section. And there are two other entrances, but I don't think that they're wide enough or big enough for Ribbon to go in. And Djuma, of course, can run in and hide. Absolutely no problem. And this is just so precious. Now remember, this is live, this is interactive, it's happening right now. So if you have any questions, hashtag Safari Live, of course, because I'd love to hear from you. Perhaps this is your first time seeing the Djuma clan of hyenas. Now, Tam, you say that this is so beautiful. It is lovely. It's a very peaceful sighting. Oh no, Craig, now look, the rain is really coming, eh? Oh my goodness, we are at some point, if it gets any heavier than what it is now, we're going to have to put rain covers on at least, and that means we'll have to move away from the sighting to do so, because we typically will make quite a bit of noise, and I don't want to startle young and Djuma, or Ribbon, or the other hyena that I think is Gwen, that is in that burrow. It won't be too fair on them, but remember we've got very expensive broadcasting equipment up on the cars. We also need to keep all the cameras and things out of the rain, otherwise we won't be able to bring you a show. So that's very important. But this rain is unusual. It's bizarre. We should not be having rain at this time of the year. It's not normal. So I don't actually know what's going on with the weather patterns. I mean, every now and then we get these overcast days in winter, but not a drop of rain. And we noticed the same thing last year in July. There was quite a big bouts of rain, and we had like 20 mils or something silly. I don't know if it was the same up in the north, but down in the south we most certainly had it. And then that was it, and then we only got rain again in September. But this is bizarre. It's now July. We've been having rain on and off for the entire month of July. Maybe it's going to be a norm from now on. Every July we will have a drizzle. Now, Michelle, you're wondering if hyenas normally have just one pup. So we actually call baby hyenas, we call them cubs, like you would call a lion or a young leopard. It's quite interesting. And no, they can have up to two. So typically they'll have two. Unfortunately, what happens with hyenas, though, is that the youngsters will perform a siblicide. So it sounds quite terrible, and it isn't the greatest thing. Is basically where it's a serious competition amongst the young, and you'll find that normally the older, stronger cub, normally a female too, will kill either a younger male cub and sometimes even the younger female cub, and they're fighting for sort of a dominance even at such a young age. And we don't actually know what happened to Djuma's sibling, and Djuma did have a sibling a long time ago. My goodness, not long time ago, a couple of months ago, when they were at the old den or Philemon's cut line, and we don't know what happened to it. I only saw them twice, I know James and Jamie actually had fantastic sightings with him and got to spend quite a bit of time, so they would have a better idea as to what they think sort of happened. Like I said, unfortunately wasn't lucky at the other den. I just seem to have all the luck at this one, which is fine, making up for it. I wish we'd see the rest of the clan coming through and spending more time together. They're very split up at the moment. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but every time we see them, Ribbon seems to be around. Ribbon is in camp almost every single night. Gwen has been around too. And then the other day we saw Comet. And then we also saw... Who else did we see? I don't know the names of the hyenas. I've now forgotten. But we saw quite a few males. We also saw June, which was quite nice. She was chewing on a bone. They all seem to be moving around quite a bit. Oh, Tima, are you enjoying yourself there? Trying to see if she is actually suckling. Oh, she is. Or if she was just sort of actually had completely fallen asleep. But it doesn't look like it. It looks like she is still suckling slightly. You can see her moving her head just a little bit. But hyena cubs don't need to drink every single day like lions and leopards. We often talk about this. They can go quite a few days without having anything to drink. The milk of hyenas seems to be sort of very nutritious. Lots and lots of fat to keep them all going. But it's quiet. See, watching hyenas sleep is just like watching a flat cat. It's hard to sit here when there's not much going on. Let's reposition. Let's quickly have a look and see what our other girl is doing. See if she's doing anything interesting. Oh, just make sure that it won't crash. We just got a little bit of a reposition to do, but not much. We'll go straight back. Sorry, Craig. Woo! You can see her, she's poking her head up. Oh, she's up. Why are you up? Hello! Yeah, that's totally Gwen. Do you mean that? What's wrong? Why are you waking up now? Where are you going? Are you just changing position? Megan, has anyone confirmed that this is Gwen? Oh, we're going to have to put rain covers on, eh, Craig? Megan, we're going to have to put rain covers on. The rain is now all of a sudden coming down quite hard, so I'm going to have to move away from the sighting. Otherwise, we're going to get all our equipment very wet. So while we do that, we'll try and be as quick as we can. Let's go across to Byron, and we'll see you shortly.
Alright, well, we've got a cover on of sorts. Our plastic bag, that should hopefully help. But it looks like it's starting to lift a little bit. Maybe it's going to stop soon. It's not. It's just fine drizzle. It's hardly anything to get too worried about. But it's just making it a little bit unpleasant. And I'll tell you, we've had a wonderful morning. But I must be honest, I find myself a little jealous because we drove past a vehicle, one of the other lodges with guests, and said hi to them and asked them how their morning was going. And they all watch. A few of them all said they watch Safari Live. So always nice to see people who watch Safari Live out here on Safari. And they said they saw a honey badger this morning. So I'm a little upset, but it's okay. It's okay, you know, as long as they're happy and they got to see it. But I am jealous. I'm jealous. So they got to see a honey badger this morning. That is lucky. What a great morning. We've had that wonderful elephant sighting. The birds have been phenomenal. Chastity, we do have very venomous snakes in this area, and one that's probably known right around the world is known as the black mamba. Now, the black mamba is a very fast-moving snake, very venomous. We also have puff adders, we have boomslang. We've got quite a few different snakes and venomous snakes at that in this area. However, now in winter we see very few of them. We don't see many of them in winter. They are all hibernating. But in summer, we do see them. We don't bump into them as often as you would think, though. These snakes often, they're very shy and they choose to move away from people, and especially the sound and the vibrations of the vehicle. So they'll move away from it quite quickly. We also have Mozambique and spitting cobras. Those are beautiful snakes, but not ideal to bump into because they do spit quite readily when they feel threatened. So there are a lot of venomous snakes in the area, but we don't bump into them as often as you would think. Now we've got a few more minutes. There's still about half an hour left, and I haven't seen any sign of the predators again. No one else has caught anything, and I think those tracks of that male leopard we had is possibly Tingana that crossed all the way through onto Buffelshoek. I'm not sure, but I do think so. And no lions, unfortunately, on our side. They passed through our area, but you never know. Maybe this afternoon. You see, the thing is, the morning is still very, very cool, so those predators will still be moving around. So you never know. We might still see something this afternoon. I have been given the responsibility of doing the town trip this morning, so I'm quite excited. First town trip I am doing. I have to take Aya Stark into town. She's going on leave. And for those of you who don't know, Aya Stark, that's Megan. She looks just like Aya Stark from Game of Thrones. So Aya is going on leave. Megan's going, oh no, not again. Yep, Megan, we're going to make you famous. You can be a stunt double, Megan, perhaps. Yeah. So and then Connor is arriving back today, so picking Connor up, and we've got to fill all our fuel tanks, our jerry cans, and then fill all our water bottles, because we get purified water that we bring in to drink. So there's a lot of admin to do. Alright, now it sounds like Taylor's managed to get her rain covers on. Let's go and find out if she's still sitting at that hyena den.
We're making our way back there now. In fact, trying to see. We just put some rain covers on here. I don't understand what's going on. Waiting today. The sun is out, but the rain pouring down. And the rain doesn't seem to have bothered Djuma and Ribbon very much. They haven't put their rain covers on at all. Hi, girl. Ladies. Oh, so sweet. Aren't they? I really wish young Djuma would come up and say hello. Oh, how I miss her and her playful antics. She is totally such a sweetie, don't you think? I'm still trying to figure out how old she is. So I remember seeing them in February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, she's probably around 5 or 6 months or so, somewhere around there, give or take a little bit. Obviously, we weren't there during the birth, so it's very difficult to give an exact date as to when she was born. But I don't think she's... Look at those little legs. You're just loving that so much. And I'd love to feel the fur of a hyena too. Not on an adult though. I can't imagine an adult's hair would be too soft. I think it would be quite wiry. But Djuma looks like she's got lovely, soft, fluffy hair. But it's still her young coat. Of course, that's going to change as she gets older. Oh, she's so cute. She's fast asleep. And the impala have also moved off now. There's just a couple of birds singing about. Most of them have gone quiet, so I suspect that they've also ducked under some trees for a bit of shelter. Now, one thing I don't know if hyenas do the same thing is we often see leopards and lion cubs, and you see it with your cats at home as well. They normally need around the mammary glands to try and sort of stimulate the milk. Now, she's moving her paws a little bit, but I don't think it's for that exact reason. I've always wondered if hyenas did the same thing. I've never seen it before. No, not doing much at all. Very, very quiet. Whew, it's a miserable day. But they've got quite a good spot here. It's fairly sheltered, especially from the wind. So I suppose that's what's good about having quite a large termite mound with lots of trees surrounding it, especially where Gwen is sitting too. Not Gwen, sorry, where Ribbon is sitting. It'll be a perfect spot. And once you're out of the wind, it's not too bad. It's warm. She'll probably just get a couple of dribbles on her from the rain, and that's it. Johnny, you said it's a spotted situation here. It is indeed. That is 100% true. Watching them, though, is making me really tired. Like I said, I would love to go and curl up. Maybe not in the burrow. I don't know. I can't imagine the amount of parasites and things that would be in these tunnels, especially that they've been using it for so long now. I don't actually know if I'd like to get in there. I don't think I would fit in their burrows either. Now, David, you're wondering if hyenas rub themselves dry like dogs do when they get wet. I've never seen it before. However, hyenas are not afraid of water. Out here in particular, I think all over the world where you get hyenas, they're quite to enjoy it. You often see them on a hot summer's day sitting in a puddle of water. Even on some chillier days, I've seen them in the water. So, no, I don't think so. I've seen wild dogs, though, doing that when they get a bit wet and they roll around on the grass type thing, just as your dog would, but normally it's on your carpets at home, isn't it? much to your despise, that's what they love to do, because it's nice and soft, and obviously they'll dry themselves quickly. And so no, I'm not actually too sure. I haven't seen that behavior, but perhaps some of you have watched it before and you can let me know. And that's the whole thing about guiding, is that, you know, we learn from experiences. Very quiet, very, very quiet in the day in the bush, but I don't actually blame the animals. Perhaps they knew that this weather was going to sort of fall upon them, and they decided to hide away and prepare in advance rather than racing off and trying to find a sheltered spot. As long as this rain doesn't get any heavier, it will be okay. But again, it's also good for the burns that we've just had recently, because now these little drops of rain are going to get through to that soil, and it won't be long until the new grass starts to push through. There's Franklin or something making a nervous noise, but that could be from anything, really. Ooh. Now, Snazzy, is an interesting question. You're wondering if I could be an animal. Would I rather be a spotted or a striped animal? That's a tricky one. I don't actually know. Spots. I like the spots, although no. Can I have both? What about a kudu? Because a kudu has got, no, not a kudu, an inyala has got spots and stripes on it. It's got those vertical stripes going down its body, and then they've also got little white spots on their, around their face and around their neck too. Bushbuck has the same thing. So can I be both? Because I think that's quite nice. I want to have all the different kinds of markings. That's a tough one. I wonder what Byron would think. Both of them, well, both spots and stripes work very well for camouflage, and we can clearly see it now with the hyenas, how they blend into the grass fairly well. And actually, they do it exceptionally well. See these dark patches of sand on the road? It's like the hyena's coat really does match the floor of the bush. And then yesterday when we had Hosanna, and we had a nice sighting of him with Byron when he was moving around, and he demonstrated, and with Craig's great camera work, how they just will become completely invisible in the bush. So they all work well. And then you see a zebra that stands behind some trees, and you wouldn't believe that black and white could actually camouflage a zebra, but it does. It just helps break up the solid shapes, and they can also become invisible. Kudu, same thing. Unyala with all the different colors. It all works so well. And then, of course, you get an elephant that really does just disappear into the trees. Out in the open, you can see them fairly well just because of their enormous size, but other than that, they're fairly hidden away. X-Stranger, you said that you're spotted already with your freckles. I have to agree with you because I've also got freckles on me, thanks to me telling stories to my mom every time she said to me, Taylor, did you put sunscreen on? And I'd say yes, and I didn't. Naughty me, running around playing sport as a kid. But yes, I suppose I'm also spotted. I don't really have too many stripes on me. I think we're going to leave these hyenas now, though. They're fast asleep. They don't seem to be like they're going to get up anytime soon. So we'll see what else we can find. Maybe the rain, the drizzles bring something else. But let's go across to Byron and find out if he's got any coffee left.
Taylor, of course I've got coffee left. Have a look. There's a little Stenbock just off to the side. Let's see if it stands for us. There it is. Oh, gone. Move very quickly. Hold on, Senzo. We might still get it just through that gap, through the back there. Right. So go right a bit. Sends right. There it goes, walking through the back there. So we're struggling a little bit with the viewfinder and that now because of the cover that we've got over the camera. Now Taylor was answering a question. It's just that little Stenbock moving through the female. Difficult to see. You can just see the head through the gap of the tree. Look at that. Well done, Senzo. Even without a viewfinder, he still gets it. Always nice to see those little Stenbock. Now Taylor was answering a question. What she would rather be, the striped or spotted animal. X-Ranger, you made me laugh. You said you've got no choice. You've got freckles, so you spotted. Well, suppose then technically I'm striped then because I've got a few white stripes coming through the side. so I suppose I'm leaning towards zebra at the moment. Oh dear. Some white stripes coming through. It's probably because I've had to deal with James for so many years. Senzo, was James very upset and sad because I wasn't with him in the Mara? Was he missing me? Yeah. Senzo says, yeah, he'd hide it quite well, but yeah, fortunately he's not here. He'd probably shout at us if he was. Just having a look around just to see if there are any interesting tracks. All of you apparently are laughing. It's actually quite, you know what, it's always fun having a little dig at James, but it's not nearly as fun when he isn't around. It's always a lot better if he can come back with some comment or some snarky remark. Like some little honey badger tracks around here. Now this area, there's definitely honey badgers that live around this area because we see their tracks daily, but they probably come out late at night and that's why we don't see them often. But I'm always thinking that maybe we'll still have a bit of luck and bump into one day around this area. Now don't forget everyone, tomorrow morning, so tomorrow the 1st of August, the AM safari, the sunrise safari, we are going to be starting half an hour earlier. So don't forget, it's going to be 5 I'm just kidding. It's going to be 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock. So 6 a.m. Central African Time, CAT Central African Time. So half an hour earlier, everyone. So from 6 to 9 in the morning. And then the afternoon will stay the same for now. We will let you know when that does change, but the afternoon will stay the same. So an earlier start tomorrow. Alright, well, let's carry on. We've got a few more minutes. Let's see if we can find anything else. Taylor's apparently got something small on her dashboard.
I don't know what's happened to it. It's pretending to be dead now. It is a tiny little nymph of a mantid. Come here. What's wrong with you? We found it. We'll leave it there. Isn't that unbelievable? Maybe it isn't actually doing so well. But it is tiny. It's smaller than my little nail on my thumb. Maybe it's because it's quite cold and they're not typically active in weather like this. Maybe that's what's happened. It's very small, but it looks like a flower mantid. I think it will be a flower mantid. That's because of its sort of cryptic coloration. And once it gets older, maybe it's going to turn into a beautiful looking thing. But it is absolutely tiny. Shame. I don't think it is doing too well in this cold weather. You can just see its antenna moving. And the left-hand side, of course, is its head. On the right, that's its, well, the rear end of a praying mantis. It is so cool. That is really amazing. You're going to wake up now. It's starting to get a little bit of life to it. I've never seen a praying mantis sort of death feigning before. So I'm unsure if they're actually capable of doing it. But at one point it did pretend that it was dead. We were just trying to rescue it. Oh, look at that. Turn to look at you. Jono, you say amazing camouflage. They're incredible little things. Yes, it's got a bit of life to it now. So maybe it's a combination. Maybe it was worried that we were going to eat it. Don't worry. We're not going to eat you. I'm actually going to rescue you and put you back in the bush where you belong, because it was on the rain covers. So it's obviously been living in the rain covers for quite some time. And now it is starting to come alive. That's the wind sort of blowing its antenna around. You can see that the wind is coming from the southwest today. Which is typically where it always comes from. Okay, little one? Aren't you precious? This is what I miss so much about summer, is that we don't often get to see all these beautiful creatures in the winter months, but as soon as summer comes around, they're everywhere. Remember the great sightings we had, and that's when bushwalk is my absolute favorite. This is really quite amazing. Now, ferocious predators, not at this age, though, you can imagine. They're not tackling the biggest biggest insects. But when they get to a decent size, which this one needs to grow a little bit more. Remember, this is a nymph, so it's basically just a little replica of the adults. It's not going to pupate anymore. It would have hatched with lots and lots of other little mantids. And off it goes from an uthika. Remember, we're finding lots and lots of uthikas on the grass stems and on the various trees too. Unusual to see such a small one out at the moment. Isn't that amazing? Right, I'm not going to bother it for too much. I'm actually want to try and, well, not rescue it, but relocate it. Snazzy, you said you've never seen a live praying mantis before. There we go. Look how it's tiny. You can just see it's just a speck on my dashboard. Where are we going to put it, Craig? Shall we drive with it to a tree? I'm trying to think. This would actually be quite nice in here because it's brown and it's going to blend in very well. Little mantid, how am I going to save you? Let me find a bigger leaf. I'm going to unplug myself now as well while I attempt the rescue mission. Please cooperate and please don't death feign, don't jump. See, it's getting defensive now. It's trying to make itself look bigger. Come on. It's okay. Here we go. Actually, you can have one more look of it on the leaf. It'll be quite nice. It's tiny. That's a great background. Now you can see it quite well. Oh, so precious. Please take some screenshots. Hashtag Safari Live. This is an amazing cryptic little mantid. We get so many different types out here. We get so many different types of praying mantids all over the world. Right, let me put him down. Enjoy your life. Don't get eaten. Don't freeze to death. I can hear the wildebeest too. Just want to make sure I get in here. Don't let the ants get you either. Oh, it's on the floor now. Oh well, it'll make its way out to the tree. I dropped it in amongst the leaves. That'll be a safe spot though, nonetheless. Okay, I heard some wildebeest just up ahead. They're snorting. I think they must have spotted me as I got out the car. Oh, it's a kudu as well. Lots of animals. Oh, so where have you been all morning? Come on now, wildebeest, kudu, impala. Very upsetting. Lots and lots of different animals. There's a little kudu running away. And of course the impala in the foreground, and then the wildebeest right at the back, and you can hear one snorting. It must be a very unhappy bull. Perhaps he didn't like me. What do you have against me rescuing praying mantids? That's very mean. Isn't this nice? Now typically we see these fellas all around the dam, up on quarantine, but not this morning with the wind and the chilly weather. I am not surprised to see them in this sort of wooded area. They're keeping out of the wind, and also if it does start to pour with rain, they won't stand out in the open. Well, not the wildebeest here in the Sabi sand. They will go and try and find shelter, and because some of the big trees unfortunately don't have as many leaves on them, they have to settle for these smaller shrubs, and they'll normally just turn their bottoms to the rain and then try and stand behind a guarri tree and protect themselves that way. It doesn't necessarily mean they have to have leaves over the top of their head, but as long as they can block the rain from which direction the wind is blowing it in, they'll be happy and they'll be fine. Tim, you say end of the show, animal invasion as always. Oh, you have no idea, Tim. It's you know, these animals have got such a great sense of humor for doing this. Let's go up a little bit further though, Craig. Let's go drive in and amongst the herd and ask them where have they been and why were they hiding from me. My goodness, I put my car into warp speed there accidentally. Of kudu. Oh, there's actually a beautiful. Will we get it? Can I be quick enough? Sorry, Craig, I should have positioned there in the first place. I'm going to try and see. I think I have to go a little bit further forward for you. There we go. And that nice view. Oh, well, brief one. Sorry, everyone. I wasn't quick enough off the mark there. A lovely young kudu bull. Not particularly massive. Oh, there's another one coming just to the left. He's even bigger. Yes, that's an impressive looking boy. Straight away, look how much more muscled he is around his neck, around his shoulders. He's definitely the more dominant bull. And then, of course, the lovely colors of orange and red and green, just creating a beautiful backdrop. Let's go forward again. Let's see if we can get the wildebeest, because there's a whole lot in front. Should we challenge this youngster that's coming towards us? Who's going to move first? Chicken? Have you ever played chicken against a human before, wildebeest? Probably not. But there are a whole lot of them around here. All just grazing. The grass doesn't seem to be too delicious. It's actually quite brown. It's just the wildebeest that are grazing. The impala seem to be feeding on little shrubs and things. Oh, and there's an oxpecker that's just on this impala just over here. She's got her head down. She's actually feeding on a num-num at the moment. There's another num-num we can keep checking. Don't you eat my berries. You better stop eating at one. Don't you dare. See that? Now you can see who's responsible for taking all the fruit off of one of my favorite plants in the whole world. You better be careful, because that's a prickly bush there. You'll get a thorn on your nose. Now that oxpecker doesn't seem to be. Oh no, it is feeding now. It is feeding. A moment ago it wasn't feeding, and I was going to say it's just trying to sit on the impala for warmth. It's probably doing both, in fact. And you can almost see the impala starting to erect its hair on its body. It's getting fluffy. It must be feeling the temperature drop. Definitely noticeable now. Megan, do you know what the temperature is all of a sudden? Because it's much colder than what it was when we started, in my opinion. Well, I always argue against the weather though. So it's 65 and 18. So it's cold. I think it's not going to warm up too much today. Maybe we'll be lucky if it gets to sort of 20 degrees, 68 degree Fahrenheit, but I don't think that it'll be too much more than that. And the wildebeest are just coming out in front. Now, Lyra Moore, you're wondering, what are the first signs of spring? Ooh, first signs of spring? I'm trying to think now. Maybe a flower on a tree. Jasmine. When we start to get the smells of jasmine, that always reminds me of spring. And just the arrival of all the insects, and the grasshoppers start to come back. I suppose that's to me, but it just depends, you know. And I think as soon as we get our first rain, then we'll normally see a change in the bush. Otherwise, it sort of just stays miserable and brown. What's happening in here? Sorry, I'm just listening. I don't know if they just... Oh, someone is sneezing. Bless you. Yes, there's an impala that's got a tickle on the nose. Now remember, we are changing the times from tomorrow morning. We'll be starting the show half an hour earlier, so it'll be 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central African time. Yeah, someone's obviously picked up the cold that seems to be going around the Wild Earth camp at the moment. Oh, I would not. Let me go forward. Safari Wildman, you said that it's been a great drive, and thank you. No, well, thank you to all of you. Remember, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, so please keep sending in those questions all the time. Keep thinking of them. We love it. We love having chats with you too. Hopefully the weather will be a bit better this afternoon. Oh, don't tell me you're going to jump over that silver cluster leaf. No ways. Whee! Did you see a little spring in the step there? I'm going to go forward to the wildebeest. She did that so easily. Well, it's been a fantastic morning nonetheless. The animals hiding away just slightly, but I suppose we can't have it all every single day, can we? But some nice variety of different types of animals, a bit of birding, and Byron saving the show with the elephants. And well, it sounded like that hawk eagle was a great time. Anyways, I hope you have a good night's rest, and we look forward to seeing you again on the Sunset Safari. Until then, cheerio.